Welcome to the final match, Analyst Desk, KT versus Griffin. Once again, we'll be hearing from Wadid and Lyra for the analyst.
네, 반갑습니다. 그리핀과 KT가 만났고
Griffin versus KT. A lot of people expected a very close game. However, Griffin had a very dominant performance.
저는 뱀픽에서 좀 인상 깊게 봤던 것이
One of the
그리핀과
impressive points
뭔가 떼놓을 수
was
없는
that Griffin's Talia and Pantheon, you know, one of their favorite comp.
애정하는 모습이 또 보였어요.
네.
그렇죠. 저는 사실 그리핀이
And for me,
되는 조합을 가져왔고
Griffin
그리핀이
had
조금
the
느리다고
snowball
생각을
comp. They
했는데
had the
저걸 굴릴 수
slower
있을까라는
comp,
생각을 했어요.
so
하지만
it
잘 굴렸고,
had a
KT
little
같은
bit more of a
경우는 1, 2, 3에
difficult
2딜을
composition
세나
overall,
이렇게
but they
맞대응을
managed to
하면서
pull it off
바텀
really
쪽으로
well.
게임을 할 거라고
KT with
생각했는데
Azrael and Senna, they were
보면서
planning to
15분까지
play
상상을
around
했지.
the
그냥
bot
무난하게
side,
넘어갔다.
and
이런
they
식으로
locked in
비교했어요.
Azir in the final pick, kind of expecting to have no accidents before 15-minute mark. However, in a very early phase, KT Rolster, their bot duo, actually fell so easily. But we can also understand their decision here because they actually changed their side in terms of jungle path, and Tusin was in a very aggressive position. They wanted to push lane really fast and just overwhelmed during the laning phase. Because Azrael and Senna, their comp is so easy to get the winning lane. However, surprisingly, Talia was not spotted on that ward. KT already had a lot of visions around the river. However, with that bit of a space that allowed Talia to sneak in, KT players could not actually expect Talia to come for that gank. And also, Talia always go for a 3-level gank, so... And also, Talia also always go in for a gank with a huge minion wave, so no one could have actually expected that. And you know, being offensive is the best way to defend themselves, so they actually wanted to clear out that wave to prevent them for a potential 3-level gank. However, that false information coming in from that ward kind of enabled Griffin to pick up a huge and meaningful kill in the early phase. Plus, Griffin had a very clean macro. After the first Drake, look how they rotate all around the map. They don't let anything. They don't let KT to take anything away from them. A lot of teams always trade the objectives, but this time around, Griffin just took everything. They took Herald and they took the bot lane turret, and then they rotated to top side and took the tier 1 turret as well. They could have just unleashed that Shelly on top side. However, Talia once again rotated. So without finishing that top lane turret, they rotated back to the bot lane turret, protecting every objective they have. And this is the perfect timing that matches the second Drake spawn. So their lane swapping timing was on point. It was perfect. So they weren't able to kind of lose anything during the macro phase. So that transition from the first Drake into the second one was so smooth sailing, and that was one of the most perfect macros that teams can actually pull off. It's really hard to see or like acknowledge that Griffin is on the ground in terms of LCK standing in LCK 2020 Spring Split. However, still Griffin is showing a top tier macro. The player of the game will be Viper on Varus. That poking Varus was doing so much damage. And it all snowballed from that bot lane kill in level 1. And Viper picked up almost every turret gold during the laning phase. because he had so much gold in his pocket. Well, there was no point where Virus actually loses his power.
아까 이전에 보여드렸던 그 장면에서부터 사소하지만
So some points of macros are really small, but actually they always have a huge impact.
이렇게 강화할 수 있었는지 좀 알게 될 수 있는 장면이었고요. 뭐잘 큰다고 해서 다 되는 게 아니에요.
네, 그리고 마지막 한타 때 또 뭐 Q가 빠져 있기도
And also,
했잖아요.
in the mic check, we could hear that Viper actually said the Q key from his keyboard actually fell out, so he had to just play without that key. However, he was really
네, 잘
doing
들어서
perfect.
했다고 아무 문제 없었죠.
저는 되게 그게 엄청 중요한
And
프로의식이라고
I think it's really
생각하는데
important to kind of hold their mentality like that, because some of the players can just get flustered or tell the teammates that his keyboard is broken, but Viper was so calm, and just in the end he just mentioned that, oh, my key just fell out, but I just did it.
있네요.
그렇죠.
네, 바이퍼 선수가 1세트 POG
So
가져갔습니다.
Viper with picking up that POG
그리핀과 KT가
in a trade for his keyboard key. So let's move on to game number 2.
Okay, guys, welcome back. I'm here on the desk. I have survived. That was a emergency for sure, but I made it out alive on the other side. Unlike, it looks like KT, who did not end up taking that win. Viper able to put them in the dumpster here with his lethality virus and just poke them down to death. As looked really strong, actually. Down even in the early game, they got that really gank going, and well, it seems like finally Griffin have turned their luck around here, at least for game number 1.
Yeah, and we'll see if KT can even up the score. I think it's going to be really hard for them to do so on blue side, but we'll see. The pick ban between these two teams, definitely a bit more focused at each other than the conventional meta as it currently stands. KT, we're going to have to see what they open with. Callista actually going to bite the dust.
Yeah.
And this is a champion that's able to be flexed into 3 roles.
Jarvan also taken off the list.
And see what the second ban is going to be. As it will be Varus.
Yeah, that is it's a telling ban after game number 1.
And so now Griffin should probably just go Aphelios Ornn. Okay, or Ornn Aphelios, whatever.
I mean, you're already wrong.
What? I just
You said
misspoke.
Aphelios Ornn. I know you were trying to be alphabetical, but it didn't work out. Ornn is banned first. That does mean that Aphelios might be skipped over, but I think the chances are less than 1%. Yumi gonna be taken off the board here.
As Aphelios does get banned in the end. Now, if Set gets picked up by KT, let's see. Oh, it will be the Senna. So they are adamant about this, and I think that they've tried to adjust their draft in a means to not have it be abused. And interestingly, there's still other ways to try to attack it. Viper is one of the 80 carries that can probably do it, with mages down in bot lane as well. We'll see if that's actually on the agenda for Griffin, as the pick ban does continue to unfold here.
Yeah, they pick Set again. Of course, left available here.
Gragas really good in a spot like this on R2, but instead they're going to go with the Karma, multi-flex potential, mid-top, ADC, and support. A little bit of everything.
No jungle, though? You haven't tried that one?
No, I
Jungle Karma?
Nope.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I know you have a thing for
Unusual
yeah.
picks, yeah.
large junglers, we'll
What?
say. Large champions. Tom Kench, Ornn, Cho'Gath.
What does that have to do with Karma?
I'm saying that's why you wouldn't pick her in
Oh,
the jungle.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, sure,
'Cause,
yeah.
It's not really down your line of thinking when it comes to stuff to bring into the jungle. not a tank, as Olaf was banned in game 1, and speaking of which, Sir Thomas Kent, who has kind of earned his name back in a way here in the LCK. We've been seeing him more and more.
This is where you could just double mage bot lane, and Viper is one of the players that could do it. Instead, though, they are just going to go with the Ezreal Karma. So, very poke heavy. Ezreal has been popping up again in the LCK. Griffin now going to move to the second ban phase. KT will probably try to pinch junglers. And what they're probably thinking is trying to pinch AP junglers, given that there's a lot of physical damage on the side of Griffin.
That is true. We also do see another ban against Kuro here with a LeBlanc. Gonna be taken off the board.
Oh, it's gonna be Zoe.
Yeah.
Is banned away so that Griffin doesn't get access to an R4 Zoe pick that would allow them to assemble 2/3 of Team Rocket.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're both banned out there. The two of them next together, Jesse and Meow. On that blue side is Rumble, just all the APs being taken away here, as well as Pantheon.
Rumble getting banned away is a little bit bizarre, given that the mobility on the side of Griffin is so high, able to reposition against the Equalizer and things of that nature.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. I feel like they were just specifically targeting Kuro. He's played 4 games of Rumble, and maybe just saying we don't want to give him comfort at all.
Gragas. So, I really like seeing this. Normally, people will say something about Gragas Olaf in the sense that Olaf can just power around Gragas, and Gragas can't do anything, but Gragas is being picked for the team composition, not just for the isolated jungle matchup, as Nautilus now being locked in. That's probably going mid lane, which is so bizarre, given that Set can just go mid, and then Nautilus doesn't have a very happy time. Thing does provide a little bit more lockdown onto the Ezreal, and what an all-in sinful team composition, straight from the Shadow Isles, led by Senna here. Kennen did get picked up. All you need is a disengage champion right now on the side of Griffin. Azir is actually just fine here, but I think counterpicking the Kennen up in top lane is infinitely more valuable. Is the Maokai... No.
Oh, Renekton instead! That's like the worst deal. Oh, man. We were thinking like, could be some kind of disengage, controlling mage, like an Azir, maybe a Cassiopeia. And then we saw the Maokai, and we all got really excited. And then it was Renekton. Now, it is going to be set mid. They decide they wanted to play Renekton into the top lane. Kuro, you could see his head was kind of tilting to the side. Perhaps he wasn't too happy with it either.
That's really interesting.
You're holding back so hard.
Champion pick here to come in on R5
Yeah.
for Renekton Knight.
Yeah, you think it's all right? It's interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
okay.
go with that one. We'll go with that one, Valdez.
Okay.
As Kennen Olaf, Nautilus, Senna, and Tom Kench is going to be the team composition here. For KT, we'll see what they can do with it. They are very all in. Team comp just falls off a cliff at 1.5 items. You could even say that it actually just can't win if they fall behind by the time they'd hit their first item, which is so peculiar, given that you have the Senna, and you would typically want to go to the later stages with her, have a very stable mid-game, Ezreal, Karma, Renekton, Gragas, and Set. So, Renekton's actually going to be in the mid lane, according to this graphic. Set going to go up top against Kennen.
I didn't see them swap there at the end, but I suppose they must have without us noticing. So yeah, Yukal is going to be mid against the Nautilus on that Renekton. So definitely not what we were expecting coming into the mid lane. Especially out of a player like UCal, who's had great games on Azir. He's played the Varus mid himself, control-y type stuff. But now he's just going melee versus melee.
The thing that's really strange about this is that, yes, okay, Gragas is going to be able to deal near true damage because the enemies aren't incentivized to get any sort of magic resistance, but even picking a champion like Victor here would be so much better. Sending Victor top lane against Kennen, Gravity Field, the movement speed from his Q, Death Ray, Chaos Storm, everything is just so valuable against KT.
And you already have the counter pick for mid.
And you already do have the counter pick. Even a champion like Zillion in top lane would be really good as well, or just anything to neutralize the Kennen would just be so fine, and then you just win outright because you invalidate some of their champions. So peculiar. Aiming, he's sinning right now.
Well, okay, this is really interesting. Gonna try to really push UCal out of the lane.
Took a turret shot, though. And Tushen is gonna miss CS for this. What are they, what?
He missed the XP.
He's gonna miss the XP.
On the one that did die already.
And Viper and Irove, they're responding to this correctly. They're not instantly shoving, which could end up being a mistake. That was the most bizarre sequence of events, level 1.
That gang sucked.
Zelda's, that's hurt.
I just wanted to harken back to our pal Kobe with the famous "that teleport sucked" call. And it really did. I mean, Renekton still hit level 2 first, and they didn't even get any summoners out of UCal. Aiming wasn't there to help out his bottom lane. There was no redeeming factor, really,
No.
out of any of it, which is why I really had to bring that one out. That was really the only way I could describe it.
Oh, here comes Olaf.
This might work out better.
Yeah,
See
UCal still handshaking it.
Yeah, trying to take this trade, but he's got the double dash.
He almost actually flashed into the pull.
Into the hook.
Yeah, into the hook. No, I actually
dredge line.
think that if the dredge line hits and Tarzan flash body slams, I think they end up winning. Oh, I don't think that we're going to actually see a replay, though, so perhaps it is just a little bit too close. Now, because Olaf did try to go for a 4-camp gank instead of just full clearing, his 2 most valuable camps haven't been consumed yet. He will get the Scuttle Crab. Tarzan now going to start up on the blue buff. And this is just the natural sequence of events of this jungler matchup.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to see the Senna in the bottom side as the fasting Senna this time around. It's not the support Senna that we saw in game number 1. That was just really kind of sad up against that lethality Varus. So it'll be interesting to see if it can be taken out here by Ezreal Karma. The priority was there big time for the side of Griffin on the Karma. I mean, it was second pick for them. Really trying to grab that as soon as possible. So we'll see if the poke out of her can actually try to win this lane really hard once again.
Everything else is just going super standard, and if you are a Griffin fan, this is exactly what you do want to be seeing. As just even lane states all around, it means that they will end up winning out later in the game.
Trying to take some pot shots here is Viper, while his support is out of lane, so all the quote-unquote supports taking a lot of routes and vacations out of the bottom lane so far. Another trade here in mid. Aftershock is a pretty good rune still. Is going to be just fine against this Renekton.
Bono just trying to get some counter jungling done right now. It's very difficult when your laners aren't setting up your lanes in order to be favorable for ganks. And if you're Griffin, you're completely fine actually getting shoved in both top lane and mid lane. It means that you're virtually gank immune. And even though the Renekton typically needs to win in order to be viable, because the enemy team composition is so weak, it's not really going to be the case. Now, I'm also really curious if Sword is going to end up going Merc Tread's first recall into eventually Trinity Force and just relying on the Black Cleaver from Renekton to come in to give him some sort of armor pen. Yukal missing that one melee minion, he can go next. As Ocean Dragon...
Well, it's nothing compared to Kuro missing the cannon seconds before.
You know what, Valdez?
Just had to one-up you there with my my cannon spot.
Ooh.
Ult in the top side. Doesn't look like, okay. That's a nice little trade out of Sword. Now what is he going to do? Push as hard as he can. No, he's actually going to freeze. Okay. Maybe I'm a little bit too on the negative side today.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah, you know? I'm going to take a little back seat here.
I think I know who lost his ranked game today.
Oh, I mean, that's every day for me. We got a gank coming in here as Yukal might just die. Gets a lot of lifesteal out of his Q, but can they turn this one around as the TPs come out? A nice engage there from the side of Sword, and this set is pretty big. Even though he only has that Doran shield, able to do a nice job getting in there. Gragas able to come in there together and get a kill back.
And that ultimately is a very big win for Griffin, because anytime that you go even with the better scaling team composition, it's always going to be favoring. So, right now, things are looking very rough. The fasting Sentinel lane is starting to get some kickback in it, though. Giant's Belt was picked up on Tushin, and he does need a big belt. Sir Thomas
yeah, it's a big belt.
Does get around.
Belt for a Giant.
We see how this trade ends up actually starting, and Yukal probably knows that he's actually being ganked. I can't imagine a world where he actually believes that Kuro's story is that he's really taking that trade in that manner. Sword ends up coming in, and Kennen has flash, so a flash superplex into turret or something of that nature on Kennen doesn't really serve a purpose or anything like that. Sword manages to retain his flash as well, so when the superplex is available again, it can end up being good. Now, good news, Valdez. Cloud Dragon second.
Oh, nice. Means we are going to get Infernal or Mountain. It's going to be a nice mix-up. We had Ocean in game 1. So, pretty good stuff here. Lots of swords in the mid lane. They have Sword on their team, and then a bunch of swords picked up. That's like a... Is that a sword or like a dagger?
What?
The Doran's blade. It's like a... Ooh. Because, I don't know, like you see it right next to the longsword, right?
Yeah.
And that is named Longsword. And...
That is named Longsword.
And you can see that they're about the same length. So is that like just a, it's like a poker, you know? Is that a sword or a dagger or some kind of other, I know there are a lot of different names for all the different weapons. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's an Ninjato.
Oh, an Ninjato.
Yeah, an Ninjato.
Oh, why didn't I think of that the first time?
Yeah, we can't all be doing this, Valdez.
Yeah, is that what you found on an Ninjato?
Ninjato.
Oh, Ninjato.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm pronouncing this wrong. It's fine.
You need to level up your weeb skill.
Yeah.
How many animes have you watched in the last week?
0.
Really? Yeah, you're not an anime guy.
Yeah, I did watch The Walking Dead, and honestly, it's moving a little slow in season 10B.
I thought there was that one guy that was carrying the show.
Oh, Negan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does carry the show.
Yeah.
He carries the show and then some.
That's all I know about the show because
that's all you need to tune in for at this
point. You're the only
point.
person I've talked to about the show.
Every Dean Morgan carries everything. So, you need to start watching it. Not going to spoiler anything for you, but it might be one of the best television characters of all time.
It's hard, though, because there's 10 seasons, you know? That's like... It's going to take me years to watch. That's a weekend.
Some episodes are honestly skippable.
Too much filler?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would understand the filler if you were an anime guy.
Yeah.
I'm not an anime guy. I have some friends that are, and they've told me about the filler.
It's, yeah. Filler content doesn't feel too good.
Yeah. The only anime I've watched was, actually there was a couple. I watched Naruto and Death Note. that was it. As the flash is going to come in,
doesn't
he
get
tries
it.
to make that move work again. This time, though, stun comes in.
The spacing is really important on it when you cast the face breaker. And then the angle, sometimes it can even be a little bit misleading. It doesn't look like you're going to pull them backwards, but you will. It's honestly something that you should, I guess, sandbox you can't really do with a friend. And then also, the hitbox of the sandbox dummy isn't always as, what? You're looking at me with eyes like, you don't know what I'm talking about. You never open up sandbox, Eldez?
Sandbox?
Sandbox mode.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the team.
No,
I was
put
really
down your
lost.
phone.
I was really lost. I was like, what are you talking about?
Get off Google.
Who from Sandbox is the dummy exactly? What are you saying, Ellis? Maybe I should have left you as the lone shoutcaster. We had a potential dive in the bottom side. Didn't really work out, but they're going to get a plate here. Or, yeah, they do in the end. Aiming takes a bunch of damage, though. Tom Kench, a pretty good champion, as Yukal is going to be flashed on.
Oh!
And there it is, Undertow going to take him out. And so they probably just found Yukal in transition. As Yukal and Tarzan were mirroring Kuro and Bono, they were able to just jump on him and get the kill.
And Viper and Irove, I mean, they're doing okay down in bot lane, but now Rift Herald going to be summoned by Kuro here in mid. Now, Teleport is available on Renekton, so we'll probably just end up TPing onto the turret. Teleport now being used on Tushin. And I do believe that that was, what, 3 turret plates ended up going down. And so a bit of an accelerant here. 500 gold advantage for Griffin, not the end of the world. As you can see here, Yukal just trying, all he wanted to do was go back to lane. And you have to wonder what his purpose is over here in the first place anyway. Ends up dying, moves back into the Undertow. I think even if he dodges that Undertow, the second one would kill him regardless. So I think there was really no way out. He shouldn't have flashed.
Yeah, I mean, they had no vision in the river. I mean, you have to assume that they could be waiting for you there. But I suppose maybe you didn't even see the rotation down towards the bottom side. But I thought that was the main reason why they were actually mirroring them down to the bottom side. So kind of confusing there, but Yukal does go down for the second time. Now the Cloud Drake going to be focused down here by KT. Doesn't look like Griffin want to do anything about that. They're just going to let that go. It will be the Infernal Soul that does come in here.
Nice, exciting dragon. It's actually really valuable for both parties, more so KT, as it's going to give them a way to actually get through Griffin if Griffin does try stalling. Senna obviously able to utilize it so well as the cannon. See if they can eventually end up getting there. We are absolutely in a bit of a lull state. Greatly Reluctant Fighters here versus...
Can't trade with the K.
Well...
It's hard to think of anything else.
I'm trying to think.
I know that I can see the cogs working.
The cogs are absolutely...
They're not turning out
there's
much.
Not,
We haven't found anything from your side.
I'll get back to you. I'm thinking of one that really fits. You don't
Should we
want to rush
consult the collective?
The collective? Generally, you don't want to use their lifeline too much.
True.
It can end up coming back to bite you.
Okay, so I'm seeing killing time. I'm glad I consulted the collective. I mean, that's the best. I mean, there's really nothing better than that in this case. As they really are. They're just kind of killing time here.
Double Black Cleaver, by the way. Picked up for the Gragas, Hybrid Ezreal, and the Karma. So really great itemization here out of Griffin. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, okay.
As Sword, did he miss that cannon?
You know, I wasn't looking. I was looking down at the items after you foolishly drew my attention down there.
Yeah, it was all just a cruel ploy.
We don't really want to look at the items. We just want to see the action.
Yeah.
If you analyze it too much, you know.
Ah, yes.
There are definitely some people that are. But either way, here we do have Tucson and aiming coming down as Tarzan is trying to siege with Gragas. That's another episode of sad Gragas bowling.
Yeah. And this is another Rift Herald picked up now by KT. As, okay, Sword might just die here, actually.
Yeah, trying to avoid the angle
Flashes.
of the suplex, but yeah, Sword just gonna get out of there. Now Kuro making his way down. He's got 2 levels on Tarzan, and he's just kind of running by. And forces the flash out of Viper. Kind of interesting there. Viper, considering the fact that if he got dredge lines, he would have died, so. Elects for the safe play.
Quite a bit of damage coming out by Gragas. As now Viper and Irov, they're going to manage to get the turret. The Ezreal is the main focal point of Griffin's team composition in the later stages as well.
Yeah.
He's the one that's really slippery, hard to get onto. Sword does not have flash, so he can't really reach Kennen to superplex him back into the turret. Minute and a half now until the Infernal Drake does end up coming up. And we'll probably see Sword pick up magic resistance. If he picks up like a Jerome's Fist or something, I'm going to be very sad.
Oh, what? A Doran's Fist?
Jerome.
Jerome?
Isn't it called Jerome?
I heard you guys talking about this yesterday. It's Jorim.
What?
Jaurim? Yeah,
No,
it's, like
it's not.
J-A-U-R-I-M, right?
Jerome. Jerome?
Jerome? There's no A at the end or O. It has to
I
be
guess you're
Jareem.
right.
Or
What if the I is
Jaurim.
silent? What if the I is silent?
Jorm? No I.
I never thought about
that what
this.
you're
You're
going
really
for?
actually just blowing my mind right now. Oh, this is rough. Yeah, I mean, if he starts moving towards Steric's Gauge, I got that one right.
Yeah, I think so.
I heard someone call it Stakes Gauge once. That was good.
That's pretty good. That's actually something you can imagine, like, the human mind would mess up. They're like, oh, remove one letter and make it into a familiar word that you've seen many times.
Valdez, do take
Stakes
note
Gauge.
of Soan's itemization. Maybe next time you won't leave me solo casting. If you do pick that one up. As currently,
a big fan of the Haunting guys.
KT is not the only person without a victory here tonight. Valdez did lose to Morello
That is true.
last game.
Sad moments. I mean, maybe I'm a clone. Maybe I'm not even the same person.
Maybe, yeah.
You
maybe,
don't even know.
Maybe you're not even really here. Maybe they'll.
I left and I came back. You know? Is
maybe
any
you're
of this even
stuck
real?
inside of the Oblivion Orb.
Is this a dream?
Am I sleeping right now?
It could be. I don't know. There's nobody in the game that has a pinch ability.
That is
Fortunately, yeah.
Sword looking like he's going to be able to raise this turret, but they just gave over the Infernal Dragon for no reason whatsoever.
They took out the turret that they were going to get eventually anyway.
I like the Dead Man's Plate second here by Sword as well. So the KT team composition tends to run into set already. And so the mobility that Dead Man's would grant you in getting onto the opponent doesn't really do a whole lot. And then...
Just gonna siege up here. They're gonna kill him before even the Dawning Shadows comes in, and that's just gonna be a kill under turret. Yukal saying, I should be fine, but I suppose that might have been the third time he said it. Sword just saying, I am a PvE player. I'm not the one to go and try to fight my enemy. I just want to take down the objectives.
Yeah. This is definitely a bit surprising. Let's just take a look at this. Yukal has no business defending this turret like this. And this is also the part of the game where the Renekton doesn't have a whole lot to do until the team fights really do start breaking out. Then he will be enabled because everyone's going to be melee range and fighting, but right now, not really doing a whole lot.
He's had a rough time. I mean, he got ganked at level 1 by a Senna. Now, I don't know if the effectiveness of that gank really shone through, but he got ganked multiple times after that by Olaf and by other members on the side of KT. He hasn't had a very fun game, has Yukal?
No. As Irov just casually up here in top lane, trying to maybe protect this Dual Master Renekton. You can see. I wonder what kind of a deck he has. Probably a rock type. You ever play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Rock type. They have rock type in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Is it rock?
I don't know.
Now I don't even know.
No, I was saying that because I have never played Yu-Gi-Oh. I was kind of a Pokemon guy into Magic, but we have them sieging the turret now. Finding objectives in between Drakes. Tucson, a pretty big boy here in the front, but Sword looking for the engage. He doesn't really find it just yet. As the cast gonna come in, they're gonna dump one already. Sword, though, is gonna get extremely low and go down. Viper still with a lot of room. They might be able to kite this down, Griffin. And finally, the Slicing Maelstrom is gonna come through, but it feels a bit late as now everybody's on the run away from Griffin, who are chasing them down.
And Viper is the really scary one. Now, obviously, with the Dead Man's Plate, Viper not going to be able to get on to any more members. It ends up being a victory, though, for Griffin, in the sense that, again, even trades will benefit them more. Minute and a half until the next team fight is going to break out. Viper still has his flash available. Now, obviously, some members do have spells available as well. Sword coming in here, has the superplex, doesn't grab Soon. Instead, goes for a face breaker first, into a haymaker, into the never cast the suplex until I die.
He did right at the end.
Right at the end. Doesn't even actually manage to lift Kuro up. Slicing Maelstrom, really nice synergy there with Tushin. Devour into spitting it out back onto the Griffin members. And then right here, there's no real point for Viper to sort of flash forward with Arcane Shift trying to get onto the Tahm Kench. It's a lot better than he save it until this team fight breaks out. Now, one of the very curious things here is Soon, he has the ability to deal pretty insane damage to Griffin if he goes Sorkpen Boots with Oblivion Orb. Because Renekton and Ezreal, no magic resistance yet, although I do suppose that maybe he's accounting for it to come in. With the itemization, Leandre's into a Cloth Armor. I don't know if that's going to be for Seeker's Arm Guard or if he's actually just going Ninja Tabi. As 30 seconds until this team fight, 1.5 gold lead, 1,500 gold lead for KT. Doesn't really mean much at this point. Whoever wins this fight is going to be the heavy favorite.
Yeah, it really does come down to this one. And look at this, Yukal and Sword behind enemy lines. I think they might have spotted Yukal there. Sword still waiting in the wings. They're trying to poke him out with the Ezreal and the casks, the barrels rather, out of the Gragas.
I don't know what Sword was just doing, but did end up getting zoned out a little bit. And now the Dragon started up. Yukal actually going to take quite a bit of damage, I believe, from that Infernal Viper. Is getting very low on mana.
Had to flash before the fight even began. As we had a bit of a K-Ram there. Griffin trying to break the mold. The couple of guys here on the edge. But it hasn't really amounted to much just yet.
And that's really, really, really sad that Viper doesn't have his flash available now. As KT's just gonna, what was that,
they're just trying to get on top of Viper here, and they will easily be able to. Sword just using that suplex to get out, and that should be the Infernal Drake going the way of KT. And I mean, we're gonna have to watch the replay. I don't know why he was doing that, but that is that could just be the game there, as KT now with the Infernal Drake have turned things on their heads. And now it really is anyone's game.
Valdez.
Let's just let that be the analysis of that team fight.
I wish I could speak Murloc. I mean, that would probably.
He kind of just did. I mean, wasn't too far off.
Okay.
I really, yeah.
I'm not even going to try to make sense of it. I think that that would actually harm me physically. So, I'm not going to do that to my brain.
Yeah, you deserve better.
do
yeah,
feel like
I really don't know. And his reward here is going to be double buff. Because they say, well, we're kind of stuck with this guy to carry. His Viper, very questionable move, for sure. Let's hope that was a one-time mistake. As that was kind of Ezreal's syndrome.
I have no idea if that was a fat finger or what. Could end. I really just can't make any sense of it. Look like.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason for him to arcane shift forward there. There's nothing that he's going for, you
he
know?
stood up and then burned his flash for no reason. They're positioning in mid lane for no reason. They're not going into river. And Ezreal just keeps firing out bullets, and his mana keeps going lower and lower. Use True Shot Barrage for no reason.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, too, because, I mean, he's been doing pretty well throughout the rest of the game. I mean, he was able to pick up the kill in the fight up on the top side. He had good positioning there. He's got the most farm in the game currently, but then that happens, and you kind of begin to scratch your head as to what exactly, why he would do that. As now they are going to go for the Baron here with the Infernal Soul. Pretty scary for Griffin to fight them straight up. Let's see if they can pull off some kind of steal. Moving forward again, they're going to find the Gragas. The knockup coming in here, aiming, trying to burst him down. Nearly able to there, but Tarzan is going to live. Yukal and Sword in the backline, but look at the rest of the team. They're all zoned out as Sword is trying to do it by himself. Zoan here is going to get exhausted. Sword, nice try, but it's not going to amount to much, as the rest of your team was heavily zoned out there in the jungle.
So the only way that realistically Griffin is going to be able to come back inside of this game is via an Elder. If they do get Elder, they can still probably win. Obviously, a Baron steal would definitely be starting things off on the right foot. That'd be a bit of an appetizer if they can do it.
Up. Otto's taking a bunch of damage.
Yeah,
he's got to be careful.
Gonna get healed back up, though, by Senna.
And they decide, okay. That's going to be it. They know that Sword has TP, and with 10 seconds left, they don't want to take any 50-50s, so.
And, I mean, we just see what's happening here. Tarzan, he gets bounced down, ignited, out of the team fight. Viper, again, with the most bizarre arcane shifts. If Zoan was really coming around the wall right there, he was arcane shifting into the cannon. Sword, not able to do anything. I'm not totally sure what is going on inside of this game, as I do believe Zoan going to be getting Void Staff as his next item. So honestly, some really good itemization coming out for him this game. And what make of you, Yukal, this game?
Yukal?
Yeah.
Big fan of the Renekton pick. It's really doing a lot of work here. As you can see, it's already picked up a kill.
All right.
Yeah. He's always got to be the front line, so we got to forgive him for the deaths. It's hard. It's hard being a Renekton. Gotta hand it to him. It's really doing his job this series.
Well, not a big deal, Valdez.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Yukal getting slowed by the center right there. She has 100 souls here at 29.5 minutes. The Forbidden Book, by the way, picked up as well on Nautilus, not the champion you expect to see it on.
I wonder how he's gonna, I mean, if he gets into the backline and uses his E, maybe he can hit 2 people. That's about it. Now, Griffin have a decent amount of steal potential here. Aftershock, can it keep Kuro alive? He's taking a ton of damage on the backside. Arcane shift forward.
Oh, really good true shot.
Tarzan trying to get on in there. He's got a barrel in him, but it is going to be a good smite by the side of Mono. Going in now, but a huge devour by Tucson to save aiming as Sword is trying to get that pick off in the back line. Might just be, nope,
the double stopwatch.
Oh, and that's going to be the end of him. Yukal also going to go down. We do have a full health Viper here, looking to kite it out.
Oh, Nautilus coming in with the home guard.
Well, he's got
And-
a stopwatch of his own,
Yeah.
but it's not
And
quite
so right
as
now,
good.
Bono is chasing Tarzan, but he shouldn't actually kill him. He should just keep chasing him as much as he can. Ragnarok almost going to be available. It'll give him a little boost in movement speed. Now, here comes the guessing game. You ready?
Playing the music. That's yakety sax right there.
He's just going to keep chasing him. And now at this point, you could end up killing him, and it really wouldn't matter all that much.
Maybe the Sentinel's gonna get in there. No.
Set up.
Oh, the moves! I love the accordion. Oh, he's dead now.
I don't-
Oh!
No, Senna. Here to-
What?
you know
Give
what?
it to Amy.
That was
To kill the Olaf? Like,
that was very unfortunate.
yeah. Poor Gragas. He is a sad Gragas now. Not able to steal on the Baron play.
Yeah, did not get to do that. 414, I believe, is the last number that I just saw during that smite. UCal, I mean, the Renekton not able to do a whole lot when he's this far behind. The enemy team has the Infernal, so they're chewing through him a lot faster than they should be able to. So he's getting a lot less value out of just everything that he's able to do. Viper, again, only real hope.
Elder Dragon.
Elder Dragon picked up by KT, and it does look like we are going to a game number 3, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we needed. I mean, we only have one series today, and you know, I wanna be able to cast a bunch of games on the last day of the LCK for now. And now that they have picked up Elder, I don't see a chance here for Griffin to really stop this push, as it's Baron for 30 seconds, Elder for 2.5 minutes. Just looking to siege here. We've got an okay siege comp, not great, actually. 3 melees on their side, but they have Senna to throw out some roots and the cannon to split push, as that's going to be all 3 inhibitors going down, and we'll see if Griffin actually makes a stand here in this game.
Doesn't look like any of that is going to be possible. Tarzan gets locked up.
Yeah.
Elder's just too strong.
Yeah, there we go. Execute after execute. That is going to be the end of the 3 of them, and the end of this game. Will they reach for more? It's going to be the question. Doesn't look like they'll be able to pick off any more. Oh, they're diving. They're getting, no, they're not. They're turning around. Not quite able to kill Viper here, and down will go the Nexus GT, as KT will tie it up.
Not that it's why they lost, but it definitely was a contributing factor to their early and mid-game transitioning. That was a beautiful R5 Renekton. I really just gotta hand it to him. And in addition to that, if set always looked like that, then I don't know. I don't know what to say. The double black cleaver really the icing on the cake there. Think gonna give the MVP. Oh, this is actually a little bit hard. This really is hard. I'm trying to think who to actually give the MVP to. There were so many players that actually contributed to this. Maybe it is just Kuro, because he mind-controlled Viper to not only blow his flash, but also the arcane shift.
Yeah, I feel like it was either Kuro or Bono. I feel like those were the 2 guys that actually made plays happen in this game. But pretty difficult, actually, this time around.
Yeah,
I think I'll give it to Kuro.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Kuro.
Yeah, I think Kuro edges it out ahead of Bono there. I mean, a lot of those engages were because of him, and his Nautilus did actually look pretty good. Although the Morello on the Nautilus was a bit confusing, but we all have those games.
Well, KT now, they've managed to tie up the series.
Kira looks really happy,
And
by the way.
honestly, I think that all that's happening here is the drafts overall dictating the pace of the early game is way too important between both of these teams. as we don't really see any potential saving graces. Even in a game where Griffin should have been able to stabilize come third dragon, they planted Sword top lane, had him get 2 turrets, UCal donked off at the bottom tier 2, ended up getting clown bopped underneath it. They gave it the 3rd Infernal and thus bringing it to Soul Point, and then Viper ended up just completely throwing it away. Ezreal, 27.6k damage, is the only champion that can actually deal damage there. I don't think that that's actually reflective of the gameplay by any means, as Griffin just looked extremely lost in game number 2. KT patching it up, looking a lot more consistent and in harmony this game so on, also with some fantastic itemization.
Yeah. Think about how different that game could have looked if there was some kind of control mage in the mid lane. I feel like that could have made all the difference. So draft coming into play as we are going to take a break before the final game of the round.
이번에 나 이거 끝낼 수 있거든. 나만 봐줘. 하나 봐줘. 그래 노플이야. 그래 노플. 하나만 쳐줘. 쳐. 이거. 오케이 긁어부터. 세트. 세트부터. 잡았고. 저거. 죽여. 왜 안 잡냐? 안 몸에 앞에 다이브.
까비.
다이브해. 캐네 들어가. 캐네 죽어.
싫어.
오케이.
아유, 그냥.
아 이걸 안 들어가네.
나이스.